you should have already risen, but you should definitely be shining. It's your afternoon marijuana motivation time. It's my first blunt of the day because I've been so busy. But doesn't mean I don't want to get the message out. This man got the message out. This man got the message out. And now you get the message. It's called Reach, Preach, and Teach. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to reach people with one message this morning. Is either you are complicit or you're compliant. And it's a word that most people don't understand. Right? We don't get a very lot of people that challenge the status quo or challenge a system. And lately I see so many people in a rise, like protesters in Portland, people in undercover vehicles going after those people. And it's scary. The last time I saw something like this in our history books, it was the Gestapo. The Russians also had their own secret police. They were called the help me out, if it's not the Gestapo and it's not the SS, they were called something else. The Russians had the KGB, and they had a secret force in the KGB that would grab people beyond their rights. And we watch these things happen because we're complacent. We're like, well, as long as that doesn't happen to me, it doesn't bother me. Same as like being on the side of the road, right? When you're on the side of the road and someone else is getting the ticket, you're like, at least it's not me. Instead of, man, there goes another poor soul losing their freedom or losing their money or being inconvenienced for trivial things, right? I bring this up because I saw a poll about us having one of the highest mortality rates in the world. I think we're ranked number 7 for being the most deaths in America over Russia and Brazil. And I was shocked. I'm like, these places have poor healthcare systems, right? They're almost Brazil, third world, right? And we're supposed to be the leadership of the world with this. And yet, here we are, highest death rate. And I was like, why aren't we living right? It started to occur to me, right? You know, because I live in other places around the world. I've lived in Turkey, a full-on Muslim state. I've lived in Thailand, a full-on Buddhist state. And I've lived in Finland, which really is not any spiritual reality whatsoever. And they have awesome shit, right? Like, when I'm out in the park, they actually have, like, services for the city, for their people, for the people, by the people, right? To clean out their carpets after the winter. It's a carpet cleaning system out by the park that everyone and anyone can use. And people come around, they get their soaps, they get their scrubbers, and use this system to scrub their society full of these things. And I look at it and I'm like, how are these people so much happier? Right? I talk about it with Thailand all the time, with the poverty, but they were so internally happy. Or the things we end up chasing and it not fulfilling us. But there we are, we're compliant. We'll just sit there, we'll obey, you know, and like a good doggy till we get our treat, you know, we'll hold still and wait for something. And I'm like, that's not really living, you know. Going to jobs that we really don't care about, to work schedules that we really don't need to on a robotic level, makes people live less. And that's unfortunate, you know, that they're dying early. I'm thinking a lot about mortality, you know, the senator that died, that was 80. Every time somebody orders a memorial shirt from me, it lets me know that I gotta live now. My poor friend started crying last night. She lost her man, lost her dad, and was about to lose her dogs. I'm like, damn, girl, if you were a country song, your dog would be run over by now. But here's the truth of it, is that we are all on borrowed time. Like, we like to pretend like we got forever, but we don't. That's a young behavior. Like, you can spend money when you're young like that, right? You can spend your time like you P. Diddy. You can just you might as well get yourself one of them Supreme guns and just spend your time. But the return, right? I was talking about the investment in ourselves, eating good food and having a mentality that's healthy for our growth, right? Not like a negative mentality like we were talking about yesterday, but healthy is not only just in our food, but it's in our attitudes, right? Like, what do we consider okay behavior? As long as someone has money, they'll do the Epstein pedophilia ring. We assume that because it's a doctor that he must be a good man, right? And in these racial profilings, we end up letting other motherfuckers slide. We let white-collar crime slide. We let bankers slide on $1 billion of stealing, literally, you know, white-collar crimes. equal dollar signs. We tend to prosecute people on little offenses, and then yet rape will go for less of an offense than a drug dealer. This is us being complicit. We watch these things and we're like, yeah, that's all right. You know, this is how we vote with our wallets. We're like, yeah, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't have to do shit like that. But that's where I'm at with this. I'm at this where I'm not just going to sit by. I'm going to say, fuck racism. Yeah, thank you for saying that hat. That's fuckonhats.com. If you want one, I got you, $20. Surviving life instead of living life. Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're surviving. We're not living. You know, and that was that movie WALL-E. He said, I don't want to survive, I want to live. We got to risk it for the biscuit. We got to put some skin in the game. And this is how we know we're on the edge. You know, most of us will just, again, watch somebody get arrested and choked out with a knee on their neck. That's complacency. We're complicit in the situation. Even the cops that were around it were okay with it. No one has the balls to step up to the bully. No one has the balls to step into the voting booth and do something about it. They'd rather just bitch on Facebook as if that's going to change something. And that's the complacency I'm talking about. I'm wanting us to level up. I'm wanting us to get angry enough to actually test our own system and go, why don't we have as much income as the other man? Why are these other countries living longer than us? I mean, I know we all know about the Japanese living like to 100 years or whatever, whatnot, but is that because they live in a stress-free environment, or that we have become complacent with our environment being stressed? Aha. That's my point, is I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to happen. I'm not. My idols didn't sit, and neither am I. It doesn't sit well with me. That's why I do the morning marijuana motivation every morning. I get a chance to put a little message in the air. I get a little chance to put a little smoke in the air and talk about these subjects. Like, why aren't we living longer? If this is the best country in the world, most richest country in the world, why aren't these people with the access of healthcare that we do living longer? And then it goes to the stress. And I'm like, look at my big old black beard, dude. You see any white hairs in it? No stress. And when I go living to Thailand, no stress. It's like almost like they have the key to the to life, is like not living in stress, not living in complacency, and living life a little bit more on the edge. We like to think that our lives are together because our houses have air conditioning, or that our walls are big, or our TVs are big. These things keep us idle, right? They make us sit there. They want us to buy homes. They want us to buy cars, and they want us to buy TVs because that keeps the system going. As long as you're watching that TV, then you're in the system and you're on the diet of the news. And ain't nothing on the news but the blues, and here we are. Talk more amongst yourselves. Find friends with different perspectives. Get out there and talk about these subjects. These things aren't easy to talk about, but they need to be talked about. Just like pedophilia, we keep talking about it. We can end it. And that makes me happy, you know? Like, let's talk about people being ripped off the streets by our own government workers. We hire you guys. How is our military against us, both foreign and domestic? We're supposed to protect ourselves from both foreign and domestic terrors. We're not supposed to be able to be touched by these people. I call it being touched and talked to. Like, you shouldn't be able to touch and talk to me unless I'm touching and talking to someone else. Like, if it's just in my mind and in my own happiness, this is where I grow it. By the time someone tries to inconvenience it or change it, then I know there's a form of control. Just putting it out there. This is a V for Vendetta moment. You know, I do this Saint Anarchy. I twisted it. My friends are like, oh, you wearing a mask? I'm like, I'm just trying to help where everyone else is asking me to be a mask. I'm not being a little dick. I'm not like 12 years old and I'm like, don't wear a mask anymore. I'm like, dude, you only have to wear it a second. They put a cup of water in front of you and you're done. All right, you can be served. You can't drink the water with the mask on. Little complacency there, right? But the truth of it is I just do print, right? This is my hat. I do hats, I do masks, I do shirts, logo on shirts, logo on hats, logo on masks. It ain't really rocket science. It's what people need, right? If this is the new rule, then that's not too bad. What's a new rule that should be stopped is, how about military intervention in our cities? Gestapo tactics? Grabbing people without identification in unmarked vehicles? Now that's scary, man. And that makes me not feel free. That makes me want to run back to Thailand where no one bugs me and I'm up a tree. And that's just facts. So I'm putting that out there because it was something that kind of all day in my head, and I was like, there's no fucking way this is happening. Are you serious? I was just in Portland. What if they grabbed me, you guys? You would never hear the story. They try to control the leaders. And that's what they'll always do with me. They'll try to shut down my account, waive me, trade me, block me, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to still keep coming from my heart from the start, every day. And that's your morning marijuana motivation. If you got anything out of this, go to YouTube, go hit subscribe, share it with a friend, hit share button on Facebook, or if you see someone next to them, just listen to this and have them follow along. That's how the message and the mission goes on. So it's your boy Marky Saint on my heart from the start. do this every day. It's a blessing to be alive. Thank you for watching. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for getting the message. And thank you for commenting below. Peace and love. And as always, Chigatan. Blessings. Amen. Peace.